Hi, good afternoon, fellas. I am Halida Kwadeshola, your host on Biology is Life. Today we will be talking about classification of living things. The objectives of today's topic are: number one, explain the term classification as used in biology. List the hierarchical classification of living things by Carolus Linnaeus. Identify the three domains of life. Name the scientist who designed the three domains and the year it was designed. Explain briefly the differences between the three domains. Explain the binomial system of nomenclature by Carolus Linnaeus. Explain why viruses were not classified among the first 5 kingdoms. Explain briefly the major characteristics of viruses. System of classification. The word classification simply means grouping of living organisms according to certain features that it share in common. It can be resemblance, it can be morphology, it can be color, it can be anything. The system of classification was introduced by a Swiss scientist called Carl von Linne, whose name was later Latinized to Carolus Linnaeus, and he lived around 1707 to 1778. He published the plant classification in 1753 and that of animal in 1758. And the hierarchical classification was grouped into 7 according to Carolus Linnaeus. The first group is the kingdom. The second is phylum or division. So phylum is used for animal and division is used for plants. Class, order, family, genus, species. So we have 7 classification. But in 1990, an American microbiologist and biophysicist named Carl Woese designed the highest taxonomic rank, which is known as domain. So we have the current system of classification in conjunction with that of Carolus Linnaeus in 1707 to 1778 as domain, which consists of 3 groups: the archaea group, the bacteria group, and the eukarya group. And followed by kingdom, which consists of 5 kingdoms. We have the kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. Followed by phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and species. 3 domains. The word domain is from the Latin word called regio, and we have 3 groups. We said we have the archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. The archaea group, they are prokaryotic. When we say pro, means before. Karyotic or karyon from the word kernel, so which means that before nucleus. So this gives us a kind of information which explains prokaryotic as organisms without a nucleus. They are unicellular organisms. Their membrane consists of branch hydrocarbons. And when we talk about hydrocarbons, we are talking about a kind of molecule that has hydrogen and carbon. And this archaea group are referred to as extremists. Sometimes we call them extremophiles because they are found in extreme environments. Some may be found in acid, and then we call them acidophiles, while some can be found in high concentration of salt, then they are called halophiles. Some are found in extreme temperatures, and they are referred to as hyperthermophiles. For instance, we have methanogens, which are a member of this group, archaea. They are organisms that do not use oxygen for their own survival, but they use methane gas as a source of energy in an environment that does not contain oxygen. So we regard that kind of environment or condition an anoxic condition. The second domain are the bacteria. They are also prokaryotic unicellular organisms, and their membrane consists of unbranched fatty acids. Unlike the archaea, they are branched. The archaea membrane consists of branched hydrocarbons, but the bacteria contain unbranched fatty acid attached to glycerol by ester link. Now, these ester link are some functional group that we have. We have the carboxyl group containing the carbon and oxygen group. We have the hydroxyl group containing oxygen and hydrogen. We have the oxygen group. Examples include cyanobacteria, which are autotrophic or photosynthetic bacteria. And then we have mycoplasma. An example of mycoplasma is Mycoplasma pneumoniae. The third domain are the eukarya. The eukarya are eukaryotic cells, and "eu" from the word true, so which means that they are the ones that contains kernel, because karyotic from the word karyon means kernel, which also means nut. Organisms with nucleus, and they have membrane-bound organelles. This group or this domain consists of the protista, the fungi, the plantae, and the animalia group. Their cell wall is not made of peptidoglycan like the bacteria, but means cellulose, hemicellulose, or pectin. Binomial system of nomenclature is telling us about something. Binomial means two, from binary, binomial, binary, it means two, and nomenclature means a system of naming. During the days of Carolus Linnaeus, he introduced, or he postulated that an organism is given two names. The first is like the surname, which is regarded as the genus, and it begins with capital letter. The second is the species, which is like the first name, begins with small letters. An example of scientific name rat is Ratus ratus. The first Ratus starts with a capital letter, indicating that it is the genus, while the second Ratus is small letters, contains small letters, showing that it is the species. Then it can also be written in three ways. Either you italicize like the first, or you write them separately and you underline them separately like the second, or you write them in capital letter. But there are some ways that you can write. If you are writing with pen, you can use the second one, the Ratus ratus, in brackets. But if you are typing, or you are preparing an official paper, you use the first one, which was italicized, or you use the capital letters throughout. There are other examples here. We have maize. The scientific name of maize is Z maize. Then the Z is the genus, while the maize is the species. Then lion is Panthera leo. Panthera is the genus, leo is the species. Humans are regarded as Homo sapiens, or they are called Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus and sapiens is the species. Viruses, why are they different? Viruses are also a group of organisms like the other ones that we have classified, but they have a different classification. Viruses don't have some features that can be regarded as a cell. For instance, they do not have a nucleus, they don't have anything in their genome except for the genetic material. Generally, viruses are obligate intracellular organisms. Obligate in the sense that they cannot live without the host. Intracellular means they live within the cells. So they are found in the cells of the body, or they are in the cells of the host. They can attack plants, they can also attack animals. Viruses can also attack bacteria. They can also attack any other organisms that they have affinity for. Viruses do not have normal cell structure, like I said the other time, but they are only made up of genetic materials known as deoxyribonucleic acid, known as DNA, or ribonucleic acid, RNA. But they cannot have the two at the same time in their genome. But research shows that there are some viruses that have a capsid for RNA virus. They are DNA viruses, but they have capsid for RNA virus. This was reported in 2012, and this virus was found in a hot spring lake. The acidity of the stream was about 2.5, and the temperature was around 55 degrees C to around 95 degrees Celsius. So organisms are evolving. Viruses can also have capsid for RNA. DNA viruses can also have capsid for RNA. Cannot reproduce by binary fission. Binary means two, like I said. Fission means to separate, which means that an organism separates into two, and this is a means of asexual reproduction in organisms. So the viruses cannot reproduce by binary fission. They have no structures for protein synthesis, such as ribosomes, like every other group of organisms, but they have in their genetic material an enzyme which is used to copy the living host's genetic materials. For instance, we have the HIV virus, which uses an enzyme known as reverse transcriptase to copy genetic materials from host cells, especially humans. They are capable of causing diseases. Influenza virus, we have rhabdoviruses, we have so many of them, and they are causing disease even to plants and animals. Right, key points to remember. Classification in biology means grouping of living things by resemblance. System of classification was introduced by a Swiss scientist called Carolus Linnaeus in 1707 to 1778. The hierarchical classification of living things, according to Carolus Linnaeus, are kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and species. An American microbiologist and biophysicist named Carl Woese designed the highest taxonomic rank called domain in 1990. In binomial system of nomenclature, organisms are given two names, that is, the genus and the species. Viruses are obligate intracellular organisms. So we have come to the end of today's edition. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel and like us. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, please put it down below in the comment box. See you next week in another edition of Biology is Life.